Falls threaten the safety and independence of older adults, but they don't have to. There are ways to prevent falls in your home, and there are techniques for recovering if you do fall. In this month's segment of Fitness for All from Duncaster, we're talking to two professionals from Duncaster about the techniques they teach in their monthly workshops called Get Up, Fall Awareness. Welcome to Fitness for All from Duncaster, a monthly showcase of fitness and exercise tips for everybody. Hello, I'm Andrea Obstin, and today I'm joined by Lucy Eyre and John Hoadley from the Fitness Center. They are instructors in the Get Up workshops. Welcome, John. Welcome, Lucy. So, Lucy, I want to start by asking you a couple of questions about the nature of falling, why it happens. Why is it so important to learn about the issues about falling?
Well, I think awareness makes perfect. The more you're aware of it, the more you're thinking about it, it doesn't catch you so much by surprise.
Okay.
No one wakes up in the morning and says, today I'm going to take a header. I can't wait. So that's what I'm going to do. You're never prepared for a fall. If you were, you wouldn't be falling, right? So, there are a lot of things that you can become aware of, and that's sort of the goal of the Get Up workshop, is not only to show you how to fall, but what to do in case you do fall. How to get back up off the floor, and how to assess the situation. And John and I will go over that later on in the interview.
So you said everyone falls. Mm-hmm. I've fallen, you've fallen. Are there things that make that more likely?
Absolutely. And again, it's not age specific. But speaking about an older person, as we age, we have loss of muscle. We lead a more sedentary life. We're not getting up and walking as much as we want to. There are medications that can affect your balance. Dehydration can affect your balance.
Dehydration?
Dehydration, sure. It can make you very dizzy. So it can totally affect your balance. So it's first and foremost, it's very good if you're having balance issues, whatever age, is go see your physician, because it can be something very simple that you're taking a new medication and it makes you unbalanced. It can also be that you need to go and visit your ophthalmologist and have them check your prescription. Maybe your prescription, you need an upgrade in your prescription. It could be a vestibular problem. Vestibular is your inner ear. So you've heard of vertigo, things like that. So you have a cold, sometimes that fluid in your inner ear, or you have an ear infection, may be thrown off. So it's a good time to go and talk to your physician about all these things. And then lastly, you want to do exercises, very simple exercises to help you increase the muscle tone and your core strength to bring back the balance.
Are there things around the house? People spend a lot of time at home. Are there things you can do to sort of minimize the risk of that happening?
Absolutely. And again, this is the whole point about fall awareness. It's being aware. It's just like you plan, you have a fire escape plan. It's sort of the same thing. I say go around your home and look at things that might possibly trip you up. Your stairs. I mean, how high are they? Where are they? Are they in good shape? I mean, if you have crumbling outdoor stairs, do you have difficulty with stairs? Well, maybe it's time to look at maybe a ramp or some other way of getting up and down stairs. Area rugs. Oh my gosh, they're a common slip and trip. If you don't have them tacked down, you have wood floors.
Actually have them tacked down.
Or
okay.
They have that rubber backing that really keeps them in place. Overall, really, as you're elderly or if you're using assisted devices, get rid of the area rugs. Just get rid of them. You don't have to worry about them, because that's a real slip and trip. Bathrooms, because you have tile usually in the bathrooms on the floor, linoleum, any kind of water. Again, it makes it more common for you to slip. A lot of falling accidents happen in the bathroom.
Really?
Grab bars. Really cheap, very easy to have installed, and nobody's going to go into your bathroom and say, oh my God, Dolores has grab bars. that's great.
More and more homes are coming with those things
Absolutely.
on the assumption that people are going to be in them.
Absolutely. So there's no stigma about being safe and not falling at any age.
What about out and about? Are there risks outside the home that we can be aware of that could be a problem?
Certainly, I know when I've fallen outside my home, and I've heard a lot of people, especially elderly, do fall outside their homes. You hear about all the time they're walking across the street and they catch their toe on a curb. Again, as you age, our feet tend to drop, our toes tend to drop.
Okay.
Again, it's a muscle tendency, but which we can strengthen. So you're grabbing your toes. Also, I think I've talked, digressing a little bit, is if we've fallen, especially if you've fallen before and you're elderly, you tend to start to look forward and down as you walk. And we can get a little bit further into this later, but so your peripheral vision, which was here when you were a younger person, and it becomes here. So if you can do this at home, hold your hands here and then look down, you'll notice that you lose all of this
Just the act
reference.
of
Just
facing
the act
down.
of looking down like this.
Okay.
Whereas if you keep your head up and your chin level, even though I know you're scared, you still can see all the way around. And you can look down. It doesn't mean you can't look up. But also the other thing that happens is we tend to lean forward. So your head, which is very heavy, comes forward, your weight comes forward, you're already dropping your toes.
And you're messing up your center of balance.
You're messing up your center of balance, and it's much easier to fall and trip. So outdoors, there are a couple of different things. There are apps. If you have a smartphone, which I recommend, certainly anybody over 65 should be carrying a smartphone. Disclaimer here, please have it charged. And please turn it on when you're going outside or even inside, because there are many apps that are available, medical
What do the
alert
apps do?
They can do everything from from when you trip and fall, they can automatically, without you doing anything, call and send out a GPS.
It knows you fell?
It knows that you fell. That's called man down.
Wow.
So it's great for people who like to hike or go camping or live by themselves, or are going out to the grocery store.
You just have
by
to have your
themselves.
phone on you?
You have to have your phone on you, and you have to obviously have the app on.
Right.
There's a variety of really good ones. So I would highly recommend getting a friend.
Man down. What are some of the other ones?
There's iMed Alert. There is. I can't remember a couple of the others, but again, it's very easy to go online. And what I do is I type in best apps for medical alerts for seniors.
Really?
But it doesn't have to be for a senior. It could be for anybody, any age with any medical condition or not. You just want to be able to, if you're in a situation, hit that button on your phone. And there are different setups. So you could have it go right to the fire and policeman.
Wow.
It has a GPS. So it's going to
Knows
know
where
where
you
you are.
are.
So you don't have to lie there in pain and say, well, I think I'm at the corner of Elm and Fifth. In Boise, you're not thinking that way when you're falling. So again, it's a really thing. So that's why I say it has to be on though, and it has to be charged, and you have to be able to push it automatically. But again, there's a variety from free to, there's some subscriptions, but it depends on the level that you want.
Any other tips about walking safety? You told me a million times, go out and walk.
Go out and walk. That's the best exercise ever for anything. But when you walk, you really want to think about your center of gravity or your center of pressure. So when you stand up, you want to have your feet rooted firmly in the ground. You don't want to put them together. You don't want to walk side by side
don't
like
want to
this.
do this.
You want to spread them out.
Okay.
All right. That's much more stable base. So you're walking with your legs open and apart. Nice soft bend in those knees. Really try to feel your feet. And also, and I like to practice this, is sometimes as I'm walking, I actually overextend, overlift those feet, probably right up, just like that. So as I'm walking, I'm lifting those toes. One, I'm strengthening those muscles.
Okay.
And again, that becomes muscle memory. So it's, again, you get to know that gait or that stance very easily, or that walk. Also, throwing back those shoulders, as I said, throw back those shoulders. Imagine you have sort of a string on your chest and someone's pulling it up. So you're not squeezing the shoulder blades back together. You're lifting that chest up, centering that head right on the shoulders. So I like to say your earlobes are connected there.
I gotta tell you, that feels funny.
Is level.
I gotta tell you, that feels funny.
But you know, once you really do it and you sort of wiggle that head back and forth, you'll find that you have a center of stability. You really will feel, okay, I'm a little bit more aligned. It's easier to show when you're standing up. But then again, hands out of pocket, walking with your hands in your pocket. John will go over that.
Don't look at the phone while you're walking.
Look at where you're going. And again, try to keep your head up. I know, obviously when you're hiking along, you want to miss the toe grabbers, as I call them, or curbs and things. So of course you can look down, but try to bring yourself back up. Because again, as I was just saying about the peripheral vision, if you put a cone, like the cone of shame on a dog, right here, this is as we age, our peripheral vision goes down and down. So, when we're really old, it's about here. So, and you'll notice this, when we're in our 20s, it's back here. As we age, it goes down like this. So if you do this, as I said, at home, hold your hands just like this around your face, and you're looking up, you can still see a lot, right? But if I start to look down, then I lose everything that's in front of me, and I lose a lot that's here. So I can't see what I'm trying to avoid. I'm afraid of falling. I'm looking down. I'm throwing my center of gravity now forward. You're ripe for a fall.
Question for you before we go to John. Are there ways to know if you have balance issues?
Certainly, you're going to feel it. Many factors, as we've talked about again. Old sports injuries, you've had a hip replacement, knee replacement. Old sports injuries are going to make one side or one joint weaker or stronger than another. Illness sometimes also throws you off. If you have, as I said, an ear infection, sometimes your head is stuffed up. When you get stuffed up with a cold and you can stand up and you feel dizzy. Any time that you feel that your balance is compromised, and you will feel it, I mean, there's no question.
Do you always, I guess that was my question, are there ways to sort of, you can measure your blood pressure, you can, are there ways to
we have an assessment at Duncaster using a wonderful machine called the Smart Balance. And it's an assessment tool, and it tests your proprioceptive balance, your static balance, your vestibular balance, which is, and your visual balance. So, it combines all of these. It's a very easy assessment. And John and I are both certified in running it.
Can anyone go to Duncaster and is that only for residents?
No, it's for residents, certainly our non-resident members, but anyone in the community can contact us and we'd be happy to run that assessment.
Excellent. So that leads us right into John. So I'd love to start with talking about footwear because Lucy alluded to it. Are there things to put on your feet that will make it less likely that you fall?
So we prefer that you don't wear any kind of flip-flops or any kind of loose-fitting shoes.
Okay.
And we would like you to wear sneakers, of course, more than anything because they have a better grip and they're more able to help you with that. You want to make sure the tread on the bottom of your shoes is very good. It's fairly new. If that tread is worn away, it makes it more apt for you to slip and fall.
Okay.
Usually, we want to make sure that your shoes are tied. If they're not tied or if you don't have laces, maybe Velcro. Okay, Velcro is very easy to fasten as we age. We have arthritis. It's harder for us to tie our shoes. Maybe Velcro might be a better choice sometimes. If you have buckles on your shoes, make sure they're buckled. Okay. Those types of things.
So what about if you have a walking assistance, a cane or a walker? I mean, does that make it more likely that you fall, or are there special techniques you should be aware of?
So definitely, if you use a walker, a couple things you want to make sure of is that you have your walker checked every year quite often. And the reason why is because that walker, from time to time, things happen. The brakes loosen up. Sometimes you need it adjusted. As we change, as we age, sometimes we get shorter as we age. Our spine has less space in it. And Now the walker changes. Your height is different. It may have to be adjusted to your height. It may have to be adjusted to your condition, the way you walk. Make sure you go to your doctor or your physical therapist, for
Even
instance.
a cane?
And yes, definitely a cane.
Really?
Make sure you know how to use your device, because it's not as simple as you might think. You know, and they can help you with how to learn how to use it properly.
Okay, so we've talked about all these wonderful things. We've prevented, but people fall. Everybody on the stage, including you, has fallen.
Right.
What do we do if we start to fall? Are there techniques for falling? Are there techniques for getting up? Do you think you could show us a few from the workshop?
Definitely, I'd love to show you.
Excellent. Well, that's what we'll do next.
All right, so now we're going to demonstrate how you would fall. Of course, we don't wake up in the morning like we mentioned earlier and plan on falling. But there are things you can do if you realize you're falling to make it easier and land a lot more safely and softly. Okay, so to get us started, if I was walking and I started to trip and fall forward, I'm going to drop my center of gravity. Okay, so I'm going to bend my knees, I'm going to hinge at the hips, I'm going to bring my hands up in front of my face so that I can protect my face. I'm going to go down to my knees as easily as I can and try to land on my forearms. That's the meaty part of your arm so that you don't hit your face. And I'm also got my hands in front of my face to protect my face. So if we are falling forward, that's what we would do. If we're going backwards, it's similar, okay? I want to ball up, I want to fall backwards into a ball. So I would go back, tuck my chin so I don't hit the back of my head, hinge at the hips the same way, bend my knees, and I want to try to land on my butt or some kind of soft surface of my body, not the bones and not the joints, okay? And now I've fallen onto the floor.
So John's fallen. What is the first thing that he should do when he does fall, or you fall? Lie there. Do a self-assessment. Breathe. Ask the people that are rushing to help you to just let you lie there for a moment. And certainly this is the time that you want to press that app on your smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, it might be the time for you to ask that friendly person to go and call 911 for you, and then come back and stay by your side. Most importantly is don't allow someone to help you up. This is when it can only increase injuries. So it's better to wait for the professionals to come and help you get back up. So while you're waiting, this is a great time to do a self-assessment to see what injuries may have occurred. And maybe they haven't. But anyway, you're going to be very traumatized, so it's best to take this opportunity to just relax and check yourself out. So, great things to do. Starting at your toes, you're going to wiggle those toes. Then, probably wiggle your fingers. Maybe move your arms a little bit, just to see if there's any pain. Move your head from side to side, seeing if there's any difficulty in your neck, anything that you're feeling in your neck. Take a nice deep breath, one that's very calming. Exhale and feel if you have any pain in your ribs. Again, your ribs may be affected. Most importantly, you want to be aware of your head. Again, so because you've been traumatized, you've been through this trauma, a lot of times you're not going to recognize that you are hurt until afterwards. So the next thing you want to do is, once the police have been called or the fire police, you've alerted your app, you're ready, you've breathed, you're feeling like you're all right to sort of move around, or you're by yourself and you really do have to get yourself up, and you're able to. I'm going to show you, or we're going to demonstrate how to get yourself up off the floor. So I'm going to have John turn onto his side, one side, exactly. And he's going to bring his hands to the front here, and he's going to push his shoulders up off the floor into a seated position, just like you see him. He's then going to start to rotate, bringing one knee over the other so that he's on all fours. This way you can easily crawl over to a chair, and I know even if you have a bad knee, but still, if you're able, you can crawl over to a chair or a bench or a stable environment. And you're going to put both hands up onto the chair first. Then you're going to figure out which is your best knee, and you're going to straighten that up, bring that up to a 90-degree angle. You're going to tuck the toes of your opposite foot under. Going to give you much more leverage to lift yourself. And then you're going to press up out of the toe and bring that leg right up next to the other one. Then notice he's not standing up. You're going to stay down and you're going to move all your hands over to one side, twisting, and you're going to turn and put yourself down in the chair.
And once you're in the chair and you're safe, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you tell the person that came over to you and was so nice to try to help you up in the first place that you still want to call the ambulance, you still want to call your doctor and let them know what's going on so that you can get the proper medical attention. And even once you're sure you're safe and you've gotten that proper medical attention, let your personal doctor know what has happened, because sometimes down the road, 2 or 3 weeks, you still find out that you're hurt even though you thought you might not have been. So it's best for them to figure out what's going on, and there may have been a reason why you fell that you didn't even know about, for instance, like a medical issue, and they could help you with that so you don't fall again.
Thanks, Lucy and John. I understand that the next Get Up workshop is September 26th. For those of you who'd like to attend, you'll want to pre-register by getting in touch with the Duncaster Aquatic and Fitness Center. You can reach them at 860-380-5023. And tune in to next month's Fitness for All from Duncaster, when we'll be demonstrating smart driving exercises. If you have any questions about today's segment or fitness for those over age 50, get in touch with Lucy Eyre at the Duncaster Aquatic and Fitness Center. And thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next month for Fitness for All from Duncaster.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.